Will the Dodgers dominate the Yankees tonight in the Bronx in a big World Series rematch from 24? Will the Mariners turn up late night out west? Find out now on MLB Bases Loaded. A huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded, high noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the buy hat is engaged. Two questions posed, answers to be found. It is Friday, July the 17th, 2026. MLB Bases Loaded. We are back off the All-Star break. Couldn't be more fired up. Mike, what's going on this morning?
Man, I'll tell you, and if you guys have been watching along the Sports Money Network here, you know the deal. I never had such a profitable All-Star break. I mean, the home run derby, we saw the script leak out there and we hammered it. We were live and we slammed it. And it was just a thing of beauty. And then, I mean, a little sweat there to watch that amazing comeback by Walker at the end there, but I was like, we already saw the script leak, so of course he was going to come back from behind. Hammered the World Cup on Tuesday and Wednesday, fired away on Argentina. Man, it was the 81st minute. They bring in Martinez, and I'm like, that dude's leading Series A in goals. Let's get him to score a goal at plus 850. I'm just happy baseball's back, though. I was a little disappointed with that Phillies game yesterday. They backed it up an hour. Or moved it up an hour, I guess, because of the weather conditions. And you know what, Shark? Let me start the second half of baseball by casting some judgment. What's going on, Canada? Don't you use fucking ashtrays? You don't keep buckets of water around? How come every single year I feel like I'm dealing with crazy? I mean, I can smell campfire out my backyard, and I'm on the eastern side of the states here, and the fires are on the Pacific Northwestern side. What the fuck, Canada? Figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the weather report last night. Mike and I, of course, pride ourselves on being aware of all elements, and this seems to be pretty catastrophic for the northern portion of the country. And, of course, that's going to affect a lot of games on the card this afternoon into tonight. So a lot of elements, but it is the first show of the second half. We are beyond fired up. This carries us right into football season and into the fall and winter, right where we want to be. If you guys are in the chat on the East Coast, it is lunch hour on a Friday. Get in the chat, hang out with us. Let's ramp up the energy together. And, of course, if you're on the West Coast, get your coffee and get ready to dominate. It is a suddenly not so casual Friday, July the 17th. And, Mike, let's get down to some business. First game on the card, afternoon baseball. This afternoon at Fenway Park. This is a rescheduled game, doubleheader game 1, make up from May 9th. This is not your usual scheduled time for Friday baseball in Boston. Funky time and smoke in the air. Mike, you're talking about it. Is it going to affect this game? What's going on here?
So I think it'll affect both teams equally, obviously. They're both sitting there dealing with the elements. I don't think you can really factor it's literally, it smells like a campfire. When you breathe in, it feels like there's a little smoke in your lungs. And so, everyone's dealing with the same element out there. But, this is kind of one of those unique spots here where the universe opens itself up and presents us with a little nugget. Doesn't happen very often. But when you're at this point of the season, so the second half of the season, literally, going back to 2015, you got a bad team, you got a good team. When the bad team's the favorite and it's the first game of a doubleheader, well, the 5 times it's happened in the last 9 years, the favorite has been a favorite for a reason. And, we finished off the first half of the season talking a little bit about how Tampa Bay might just be, overachieving a little too much early there. I think that's the case, man. I'm going to take the Red Sox in this first game of the doubleheader. I think they've got the opportunity. And again, in the last 9 seasons, the team that's bad versus the team that's good, the team that's favored if they're bad, 5-0, will take the Boston Red Sox. Give me Jack Bennett and squad here. Let's see what happens. Jake Bennett and squad. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Jake Bennett, Griffin Jacks, a lot of moving parts with the names in this game. But, Mike, I agree. I got the Red Sox as well. You can actually get a really nice price here at minus 110 now, and it really is a continued conversation from the first half. The Red Sox come in here on a 9-game winning streak. And oftentimes when teams are super hot and they get the All-Star break, that can actually be disruptive You want to stay in flow. It's like a gambling thing. You don't leave the table when you're on a heater. They were forcibly driven away from the table, if you want to call it that. But they come back here, and I think more importantly, not just a 9-game winning streak, actually 14-2 last 16. So this is a wider scale conversation. And we've been trying to buy this team since May and telling you guys the same story. They're just wildly undervalued. They had a managerial change. The front office is highly analytical. Sometimes that's mistakes, but they have gotten to a point where the uptick is very real. And their run differential is incredibly strong in this particular window here, plus 27, still 2 games under 500. So when I cross-reference the run differential there, it's a continued buy. You shouldn't be under 500, and you get great data here for Jake Bennett. Bennett actually did face off against Jax at home at Fenway, a 7 o'clock game on a Thursday back in May. Boston did lose the game, 8-4. It was actually Griffin Jax's first start for the Rays. Boston was favored in that game minus 110. 4-run loss, and now they move up at open about 10 points. Jax is a little capped. The Red Sox will continue upward momentum. This is a strong bull market for the Red Sox, Mike. Any thoughts on the total or keeping it moving?
Not really. No.
1 point on it. The last 2 times Bennett has faced this team, 2-0 to the over, 7-5 at Tampa Bay and 8-4 here. I think you could see runs in this game. My only hesitation is the smoke coming down from Canada. Is it going to puff down and kind of flatten the bats? I don't know. We will see. Take the Red Sox and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line. If you guys are in the chat, we see you guys fired up with us. It is the middle of the summer, and it is the Fire Show. Bases loaded. Evening baseball tonight. 7:05 in the Bronx. Roki Sasaki and the Dodgers coming across country to face the Yankees and Garrett Cole. Mike, when MLB scheduled this game back, whenever they did, they nailed this one. We open up the second half. We get a rematch of the World Series from 2 years ago, and we get the 2 biggest markets and teams in baseball. Mike, I have a hat for this one. I guarantee you have no idea where I'm going with this. What do you think about this one?
I'm gonna guess you're gonna pull out the old pinstripe hat here, but I feel like our guy JPZ might have dogged you into buying a Dodgers hat or scraping up that Dodgers hat here. You know, the hot home team, and I don't know how much validity you can put into this, right? But they came in with a winning streak in the last 3 seasons. That circumstance does show that the Yankees win, but I don't know if I can trust Garrett Cole, man. I mean, look, the dude's 3-4 with a 4.04 ERA since his Tommy John surgery. So, listen, he's got the lowest strikeout rate, or one of them, on his career since 2016 at the very least. So you got to look 10 years back to find this guy struggling with the numbers that he's had. 3 runs, 6 strikeouts against Tampa Bay going into the break. So they said he's working on his command and his control. Now the question is, how's that going to fare against the Dodgers team who, kind of shit the bed going into the All-Star break, right? We saw them. I mean, we were cleaning up with them Arizona Diamondback spots. And they don't strike out very often, them hitters. So I'm kind of leaning towards this. I like Garrett Cole under strikeouts. Give me his under 5.5 strikeouts there. Gosh, I guess if I had a free play, I'd probably take the Yankees here to go out there and smack them around a little bit. Just in that home favorite, opening a series. They were on a winning streak. And I just kind of feel like the Dodgers flying cross country after the All-Star break, probably a little flat to start things out as well. So I'd go to Garrett Cole's under strikeout props, and I like the lean to the Yankees.
Mike, you know who the biggest name was that didn't go to the All-Star game at Citizens Bank Park for the National League?
Shohei Ohtani?
You're right. Why? He's in New York City. They're ready to fucking dominate. The buy hat is engaged. My guy JP's has been waiting all year. See, I own one, and we're getting it lit, ready to start the second half of the season. And truthfully, I think this is a great spot. And I think the Ohtani conversation is more than just him not wanting to potentially burn out in the All-Star game. I think he really is that intelligent of a player where he said, I need a little reboot. I need 4 days off. It's just for my health. I need to come back fresh. And he knows this series is absolutely gigantic. Not only that, Mike, as you mentioned, the Dodgers cratered into the All-Star break, getting swept in the series leading into last weekend against the Diamondbacks. They come back here. I think this is a complete bounce back and energy reversal from that flatness in a home divisional series. And the Dodgers are 7-3 this year in road series openers outside of the division. They've dominated in this spot. You go to the Yankees conversation, I think it's a great sell. You look at the Yankees going into the break, really from the opposite perspective of the Dodgers. They were hot. They were 4-0 last four, swept the Nats on the road last Sunday going away. But, guys, unpack that series. The Nationals blew all three of those games late. The Yankees outscored the Nats 10-0 in the 8th and 9th inning of those three games. So were the Yankees dominant, or was that the bullpen from the Nats just being a sieve? You're not going to see that from the Dodgers tonight. And final point on this, Mike, as you mentioned, Cole is not 2019 Astros Cole. He's off arm surgery. He missed all last year. He's looked inflated situationally against big-time lineups. He has underperformed at home. Did catch a win against the Twins in his most recent home start. Guys, that's the Twins. The Yankees smoke the Twins. And the last time Cole did face the Dodgers at Yankee Stadium, it was actually Game 5 of the 2024 World Series. He took a 7-6 loss, 5 runs against in the game, inflated whip. Dodgers are all over this one. The buy hat is engaged. I'm happy to put it on for the guys in the chat. If you guys are taking the Dodgers with me, type Dodgers and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. More interleague baseball in the early window of tonight's card. Pirates at Guardians. Game 1 of this series. Jared Jones and Gavin Williams. 2 extremely high upside young pitchers here, Mike. Any thoughts about this one?
I was just thinking about that little joke that you told at the end of the first half there where you said, you're saying Dodgers -1, it's because you lost a unit in that game out there. So
I said that about the Red Sox.
Oh, was it the Red Sox?
Yeah.
felt like the same joke had some validity in this case here too. But anyways, look, I don't like this spot. You know, there's a couple games in this card that just kind of were like, I thought they could have done more in terms of like the matchups that they were giving us, you know, like, your aces are rested if they're not in the fucking All-Star break. So why are we seeing some kind of bum lineups and matchups in this situation here? So not entirely enthralled with this game. I would probably lean a little bit to the under. I just don't have a really strong. I mean, look, Gavin Williams should go out there and fire. Jones is probably the best guy that they got in the arsenal for the Pirates at this point. So 7.5 says it's a low number. It should be a low number. I just don't like this game. This isn't where I want to start the kick back into the baseball season coming off the All-Star break here. Game 1, teams on a heater, win, but not recently here. I just go to the under. Give me the under.
Yeah, it's a terrible game. I mean, honestly, there's no matchup data here at all. Jared Jones, young pitcher, also missed most of last year, if not all of last year. Gavin Williams really hasn't faced the Pirates in any capacity. Guys, sometimes these games have absolutely no matchup data. This is your classic home line. Interleague. It's just 30 points of weighting off neutral to the home team. That's all I got in this one, guys. I think it's a push. I think the under is a strong look with 2 high upside pitchers. Under or nothing, tough game, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, we're going back to Boston. We're getting a big dog. We're getting a big sandwich here in Boston. 2 games out of the first 4 being played at Fenway tonight. Game 2 of this series, Mike, kind of stuck in maybe a small cluster of one of my favorite words, ambiguity, to open the card. It's game 2. We have no idea who's pitching. What's going on here?
Yeah, you don't really know even on either side here. It looked like Englert was going to be the starter or the opener or whatever the case may be. But second game of a doubleheader, I would tell you guys probably my guess. I think Boston gets that first game, and I think Tampa Bay comes back for the zigzag spot. Can't do much with this thing until you see who's pitching. And I think you got to see the outcome of the first game. So, you know, TBD means TBD for me. I probably won't get involved in this game at all.
I completely agree. And we got a video.
Well, I'm still a little rusty. I wasn't expecting to fire right into it.
Appreciation is appreciated, guys. Drop a like on the video right now. It really does help to spread this across the algorithm and help to bring people into the conversation that do not know where to find it. As we said, we got through that one really quickly. Game 2 of a doubleheader is always really kind of open season. We got to see what's going to go on later in the day before we handicap that. So please drop a like right now, and let's keep it moving. Next game of the card, we're going to Toronto tonight. Apple TV national game here, Rogers Center. White Sox at Blue Jays. You talk about a really interesting dynamic here. You get the bull market White Sox against really one of the flattest teams in the sport in the first half, Mike. Anthony K at Miles. What's going on here?
Yeah, I thought this was a tough game. I think the White Sox going to be in for a beating on this one here. Second half of the season starts out here. The problem that the White Sox are going to face right now is they got a little revenge-oriented aspect because, they took it to the Toronto Blue Jays right not too far before the All-Star break there. So I think that's probably fresh on their mind. I think that rest certainly did the advantage for everybody when it comes to the Toronto side of things here. I'm not a big fan of, Miles coming in here, but he doesn't have a ton of sample on the season. And, home favorites start off big. And I think that's a big thing post All-Star break that you see, especially on a Friday night up in Toronto. I think Toronto with this price tag can go out there. But, the White Sox on the road, they are historically a fade team. I know they started off great this year, but I just can't get there. The first game of a series on the road, by the way, in 119 games over the last 4 seasons, if you fade the White Sox in game 1 of a series, you've won 68% of the time. So why? Well, pitching matchup, right? The advantage of 1 versus 1. I like Anthony K. I think he's a fine fella, but not for me, not for today. I'm going to take the Toronto Blue Jays. Give me the 6, baby.
Yeah, when the White Sox come to the forefront of this show, I have only one option. The buy hat is engaged. And, Mike, that's great data. But you know what? This is the 2026 White Sox. It's a different team. And Venable has something to say about that. We left you guys on Friday telling you guys the White Sox were going to annihilate the Athletics, not just because they were that much better, but because there was a psychological angle there. They brought Murakami back before the break where they really didn't have to. You see teams leave these guys for extra rest. It was because they are ready to kick ass every game, and they know the momentum is huge. I think that's the same conversation coming out of the All-Star break. I think they go in hot. I think they come back out hot with the same intention. We don't want to come out flat. It's a conversation in the clubhouse. Talk about Toronto here. In my opinion, this is a terrible spot for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays just came off a 9-game Western trip to close the first half. 3 at Seattle, 3 at San Francisco, and 3 at San Diego. They got an All-Star break, and Vladdy Guerrero was supposed to go. He didn't go. So all you got going there was Dylan Cease, who looked like a genius in the first inning, and you got Clement in the lineup. What does that tell me psychologically? Vladdy Guerrero is checked out, ladies and gentlemen. This guy only has 6 home runs on the year. He's heady. He's emotional. He's just not focused. The rest of the group, what did they do for the last 4 days coming off that Western trip? Not a lot, in my opinion. And I'm listening to John Schneider during the All-Star game have an interview with Dave Roberts also on the call. And Schneider said, we're reliving the glory of 2025 World Series. And Mike, I did not like the psychology of that at all. If I expect the Blue Jays to come back here pissed off and ready to go, it's not Schneider at the All-Star game thinking about how great last year was going to the World Series. I want these Blue Jays basically jettisoned to a foreign country in a war zone for the last 4 days. I think they're coming off vacation. They could get crushed here. And you mentioned it. The White Sox did crush them going 3-0. In April at home, and it's bigger than that. The White Sox are actually 6-3 versus Toronto last 9, did perform well in this stadium last year. I think the bull market continues here. Take the White Sox. Mike, any final thoughts?
Yeah, that breakdown is entirely full of shit, with due respect. And it has to do because of the foundation of Guerrero. And
6 home runs.
He declined to go to the All-Star break because he's rehabbing from his back injury. And so the team supported him, and the ownership, the manager came out there and said they see it as a sign that Guerrero's growing up, that he's trying to take care of himself so that they can go out there and attack the second half of this baseball season. So I just think that's a misread a little bit there on the Guerrero side of things with due respect. So
listen, I could be totally wrong about that, but I do think 6 home runs is very noteworthy. And also something that just occurred to me when you were saying that, Bo Bichette leaving and going to New York, crazily enough, hasn't played well for the Mets, but you got to remember Bichette and Guerrero came up in the system with Toronto for like the last 9 years. So maybe that's also a point of disruption for this Toronto team. It's like the 2 brothers were separated. They're not bouncing back here on either side of that move. But Absolutely final point on this. We'll keep it moving. Anthony Kay has looked sketchy on the road, most notably at the National League. He's 0-4 at the National League. His only road win this year outside of the division of all teams was at Seattle. Seattle and Toronto both went to the ALCS last year. Both are flat. It's like the same exact handicap. I think Kay will pitch reasonably well and get the dub. And we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, 7:15. More interleague baseball. Rangers-Braves game one of this series. Cal Quantrill, quite a journeyman at this point of his career, against Chris Sale. Sale was at the All-Star game. He was giving some good sound bites to everything. Heavy line here, Mike. What's going on here?
Boy, I think this is a great opportunity. So listen, two things I want to do with this game. I want plus money. I want plus money with Texas. As crazy as that may sound, look, they're not in Texas, so they can play. They hit the ball when they're not in Texas, which is crazy because Texas is like a baby ballpark. So, to see that you have the advantage when you're on the road, not at home, is something that definitely is perplexing. I don't think Sale's, he's not the same guy that we've known him to be in the past, right? I mean, realistically out there, he should be able to go shove. When I say I want to attack plus money with this guy, though, I want to take a strikeout prop. He's got one of the more favorable matchups on the card. And if you look at his numbers right now, you can get 7.5s around plus 120. Dude's got a 29% strikeout rate. He's almost 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. So Cy Young candidate first half of the season, potentially. He made the All-Star game for a crazy 10 times. The dude's a beast. But, the Rangers, listen, they can go out there and crack a couple lefties. The bottom line for me is lower scoring, non-divisional opportunity. This is one of those little situations where you overlay these two teams and you say, you know what, interleague dogs, they're plus 120 to plus 200. They're finding a way. They're winning 45%. Now you say, well, that's not a ton, right? But there's a 1,300 game sample. They're up 110 units in that process, and you're going to give me a shot to take Cal Quantrill as a dog? Dude, he's 26-22 in those spots. I'll take the Texas Rangers. I think they got a chance. I don't think it's totally dead. I think Chris Sale can go out there and shove. I like the Chris Sale strikeouts, and I like the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, tough game for me here. Honestly, this is where you kind of live, and you do live successfully more often than not, finding these spots to fade these pitchers. Tough game. Really just kind of a matchup that I will avoid, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, we are going to Milwaukee, 7:40 Marlins Brewers. Logan Henderson, I believe that is his name, against Sandy Alcantara. Really interesting matchup here. Henderson looking great, 24-year-old pitcher, really one of those guys that you've quickly noticed in recent history. Alcantara off a 9-game winning streak and a loss in his previous game. I told you guys he'd take a loss versus the Guardians, but bounce back, Mike. What's going on here?
Dude, you've been pretty dialed in with these Marlins. I mean, there's some spots where early in the season, before everybody was just before they went on their hot streak, I'll hand it to you. If I wore a hat, I'd take it off for you and your Miami Marlins looks here. And I'm going to go to him today. I think this is a good spot. I think you got a potential lower scoring spot. Too much of a tag for Henderson. Now, I like Henderson. I could get down with this K-prop. I think he does have the opportunity because we don't see a lot of plate discipline here, but highest strikeout upside of any pitcher on the card today is Logan Henderson. He's got 30.6% K rate. He's got almost 11 strikeouts per 9. But I still want to get involved in the other side of this business when it comes to jumping in on Miami for I think price tag reason, but not just price tag. This because of the pitching metrics that Henderson's been able to put out there. We do have a fade scenario where it falls into a 12-3 spot. So basically, this has to do with the number of strikeouts to balls being thrown out there. And in this scenario, because the strikeout to ball ratio is almost 4-1 in favor of Logan Henderson, it kind of says he's been pitching out over, he's essentially due to get busted up in the mouth out there. And I'll take a shot with the Marlins with this price tag here. And I'm hoping that you come back and say you got a buy hat for me.
I know I can't fade this Henderson guy, but I'm not on him either. I just think that the data is hard to unpack. Small sample, only 2 seasons, but his home numbers are fantastic if we're being honest. You go through his home starts, he's 2-0, and the degree of difficulty doesn't get any higher. It's the Yankees and the Dodgers. He beat the Dodgers 5-1, 0 earned runs, beat the Yankees 4-3. Go back to last year at home in his rookie season. He's only 24, 1-0 at home. 2-0 at home, only 1 earned run in 2 margin wins against the Athletics and the Baltimore Orioles. So he's 4-0 at home outside of the divisions. Alcantara will show up. I'll defer to you on this one. What was the official?
What do you think about the total in this? You think we could see ourselves with that? I mean, 8.5s and 8s are kind of flirting around out there in the market. You think that this is potential lower scoring, or are you just not
I
interested?
think this is kind of one of those stinky lines yet again for two top quality pitchers. It's a little high. I mean, again, everything is so close margin with baseball where like 7.5 would be like kind of a sharp, 7 would be under, 8 might be an over. I think actually going into this game, do we know, is this park is a dome, right?
Good question. For
So the air
Milwaukee.
quality element wouldn't be as big of a deal theoretically.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, we saw the air quality was a factor for the Phillies game yesterday. That's why they moved it up, but that game kind of fell flat. I don't think it was because of the air quality. I just think it was because those two pitchers were going out there nuking everybody. And it was a weird start time. I mean, it was that thing that we look at from the anomaly perspective, right? Where you talk about team falling in the window, and you move those teams up to 6:00 when they're expecting to go almost 8:00 out there. That's kind of a big shift. No, American Family Field. I believe that's outdoor stadium. I see wind blowing out. I don't see dome effect. Let me look. I should know this. I don't know.
I just recall seeing a game out there that I thought the light looked like an indoor game. Maybe it's a retractable dome. Let me check here.
Yeah, retractable roof.
Retractable, yeah. Makes sense. Probably more so for early season and late season baseball with the wind and the cold up there in Milwaukee. But, as we said, we got a lot of air conditioning, not air conditioning keeping it cool, but air condition coming from Canada being pretty disruptive here. So looking at the Marlins in this one for Mike, and we will keep it moving. More outdoor baseball in this portion of the country. Unfortunately, 8:05. Twins Cubs opening up an interleague series here. Bailey Ober at Colin Rea. This is the same conversation. You get Wrigley, but you get this air quality element, Mike. High line for Rea. Tough one for me. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I thought this was a tough one for me as well. It's got a 10.5, right? So the wind conditions, they're blowing out at Wrigley. But it's not really like an aggressive factor. It's not like a 25-mile-an-hour gale force wind. It's modest. So it just feels like a little bit of an overreaction. I mean, we have 6.9 miles an hour, just to put it in reference, right? So when you see this big 10.5, a lot of people get excited about that and think, okay, this is an automatic over, but I don't know if I would go that direction. I like PCA. I like Crow Armstrong. He's in the leadoff spot. Bailey Ober certainly likes to give him up early and then kind of pull it back down. So don't want to be involved in the Minnesota Twins business. It had to be Cubs or nothing, but I have some hitting props with PCA. I've got him to get over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I've got him to get a home run. I've got an RBI in there as well. So I like PCA in this contest, but no contest for me as far as sides or total. Shark, I'll defer to you.
Yeah, I mean, this number stands out for me in terms of the total at 10.5. And I've been telling you guys, these Cubs pitchers have extreme line transparency in their totals at home. You see Reyes sometimes with 7.5s. I recall a game involving him already this year. I believe the line was 7.5. It finished like 6 runs. Huge gap. And it's wind, it's weather, and it's this air. The over would be the look. I'm still working on the game. But if you go to the over side of this game, there's very specific data here. He's awful at National League opponents. 2 this year, 15-2 loss at Washington. 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched. Got even worse in this division at Pittsburgh. 10-9 loss. 7 earned runs on 12 hits in 4 2/3, 3 home runs. That's why the line is so high. You're getting weather, you're getting Ober on the road. The over is the best look in this game. I might get there in the afternoon, but do not take a little space and value under in this game. The line is high for multiple reasons. Over best look, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, 8:10 in Houston. Orioles-Astros opening up a weekend series here to close the second half. Dean Kramer at Peter Lambert. Both teams kind of hovering right in the same range, almost the same record. Orioles are 46-51. Astros a half game better, 47-51. Mike, what's going on here?
I like it under in this game too. I think that, 2 things going on. One, Baltimore bats can't really be counted on, right? I mean, we talked about that in the first half of the season. You just don't, it's not like it was a couple of years ago and they were fun. They got some pieces. They should be able to figure it out. But the other side of the equation is, I like Lambert. So, bad teams in the first game of a series find a way to excel, and it's a tricky spot for me. I'd have to go to the under, and I don't like it. But you know what? Here's why I like the under in this case. One is the bats with Baltimore. Don't want to count on those scrubs. Two, you know what I don't want to count on is Yordan Alvarez. Every time I put that fucking guy in there to do anything, he does nothing for me. So there's a consistency factor on the other side of things here. I do have Jose Altuve involved in my home run parlay prop of the day here. Jose Altuve has got 20 at-bats. He's got a homer. He's hitting 450 on Dean Kremer. So, I guess I'd have to lean Houston, but the numbers and trends tell me that this is a other side of things here. Teams on a winning streak that start the series off are definitely in a favor role out there. They've won 11 straight. So you got to respect it. It's a tricky spot for me. You can see I'm kind of talking both sides of it because I just don't like anything other than the under in this game as a default because we've got some favorable weather, but Houston, what are we doing here? We got Minute Maid Park, right? We know the deal. Weather's not a factor. So I'll take the under. Give me the under in this game.
Yeah. So that trend you were saying was a Baltimore trend.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, if the team's on a winning streak of 2 or more and they're starting a new series out, but again, I kind of de facto that because we had that All-Star break, but go ahead.
I agree. I don't have the hat next to me, but we're taking Baltimore plus 104 on the money line. It's a great spot for Baltimore. It's Dean Kremer is the conversation here. 5th start of the year, full zigzag. Win, loss, win. Coming off a loss last Wednesday at home against the Cubs. 4 home runs. This is his bounce-back zigzag win spot, and he's going to bounce back off a performance where he gave up 4 home runs at Camden Yards. He is better on the road this year. Only 1 road start. Did look great in Cleveland back early season. Only 3 earned runs on 2 hits in 6 innings. It gets even better in terms of this stadium. Mike, you're talking about Minute Maid Park. Kremer loves pitching in this stadium. Don't ask me why, but the data confirms 2-0 in the last 5 years at this stadium. Complete ace quality. 7 2/3, 1 earned run. A couple of years ago, 3-1 win. Go back to last year, August 17th, 2025. At Christian Javier, same line range. Houston was a small favorite. The Orioles won the game 12-0. And Kremer had an absolutely elite start, 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 7 Ks. Kremer loves pitching in this stadium. He will zigzag. Lambert's a little capped, and Lambert did take a 10-3 loss at Baltimore earlier this year, one of his worst starts of the year. I think Baltimore is a bit of a bull market. I think Houston could be a little capped here. The trend agrees. We like Baltimore in this game. Take Baltimore. And let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. More baseball in the center of the country, more out-of-division baseball. This one, interleague play. Padres at Royals opening up the second half tonight. Michael King at Seth Lugo. Mike, when I was looking at this game, I saw the Padres sitting here at 500 and the Royals sitting way below 500. And I thought to myself, how the hell is San Diego only minus 115? What's going on here?
It's a weird number, isn't it? Like tricky little spot for this team coming in, but they do have the number 2 bullpen. And I think you're high on Lugo or more high on Lugo than I am. Like I'm more high on Lambert than the Lugo situation out there. So Michael King, he goes out there and he shoves. He does his job and he gets the problem is you got weather. You got some runs expected here, 10.5 at this ballpark. And San Diego as a favorite is a very tricky spot to be involved in here. But road team against a bad defense as a favorite are a favorite for a reason. So I'd have to go San Diego Padres here. If you want me to quantify it, it's a 72% win rate in the last 8 seasons. That is the San Diego Padres position they find themselves in. They were made a favorite to kick this thing off. And, I think they stay a favorite. I made the duck blue because I've never seen a blue duck and I wanted to see what a blue duck would look like.
I don't have the hat here, but I do like the blue side of this game. Taking the Royals and
these fucking hats, dude. What's going on?
I only have 3. I could have had 7. I thought I'd keep it light as we reopen, but taking the Royals. And as I always say, it's never personal. It's just the numbers. Lugo, you take him against the National League. He's 4-0 against the NL, home and road. And his last start against the NL was a road game at the Mets. Like you said, you don't like this guy. I don't like him either like that. I mean, he looked terrible. But the Kansas City game, they won the game 16-12. So the bats show up for this guy. And I think that's what you're looking at here. The line is short for San Diego, and the total is high. So the books are telling us this win for Kansas City is not dependent on Lugo being great. The bats are going to light up Michael King, and King has been poor on the road outside of the division. If the first start, he's been slightly better staying on the road. He's 1-3 in this spot. 13 earned runs against, 21 2/3 innings pitched. And you go to the San Diego conversation here. When I was handicapping this before, it really kind of correlated to what I said about Toronto being in an awful spot coming off the All-Star break. Well, Toronto played San Diego going into the break. So now you get the San Diego side of this game. They're really in an awful spot. They're coming in here off a 7-game homestand, 2 wins, and they get 4 days off. The only guy from the Padres who went to the All-Star game was Mason Miller. The guy's a total G. I mean, he's like unreal. He's playing corn coming out. The place is like an absolute concert when this guy comes on the field. It's not the same situation for the rest of the team. They got divas up and down this lineup. We're talking about Guerrero underachieving. Here's your Padres 2026. Fernando Tatis Jr. didn't hit a home run for like 2 months. It's the same exact conversation. So you say to yourself, what did Tatis, Machado, Merrill, Bogarts, what did these guys do all week? I don't know, but I don't like it. Now they got to open up the second half at Kansas City. It's a one-off series, center of the country, hot air, small stadium, maybe some smoke coming down from Canada, one of the worst teams in the league. If there was 1 or 2 or 3 teams who I would say actually fall into the trap of just playing down to the moment, the Padres are 1 or 1A. And final point on this, you go through the run differential conversation. The Padres are dead 500, 48-48. They have the 4th worst run differential in the entire National League. They're minus 43. They have overachieved all year. This roster is massively capped. The psychology is terrible. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. As I said, it's not Lugo dependent. I think the Royals will win a wild one tonight in Kansas City. Mike, any final thoughts or keeping it moving?
Nope. I like San Diego. I just don't. I'm not a Kansas City backer, and I think you're getting a good price with Michael King. So, the problem I have with that, Michael King's an under pitcher. He's an under guy, and he excels, especially in the underdog role. So, there's just a lot of, I think the books came back to this thing and caught up on it, and they're like, all right, fuck. I have 0 trends that point to Kansas City in this game, so it's kind of, see what it looks like here when a game's all said and done. I like the Padres in this spot, so it'll be fun to go a little head to head. I'm glad you don't have the blue lid. I'm glad I don't have to look at that blue lid.
Yeah, no, as I said, only trend I have that's sustainable here is 4-0 Lugo against the National League. So we will see, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, 8:40 in Denver. Reds Rockies opening up the second half tonight in Denver. Mike, you talk about these teams traveling to funky stadiums, middle of the summer. This is pretty much the next one. Reds here laying nothing. They're actually a dog to the Rockies, Mike. You talk about stinky lines. What's going on here?
What happened, Shark? I looked at this one immediately and I was like, man, Shark's going to fucking roast these boys here. I just thought this is put them on the spit, put them over the fire and get ready for some nice little K-bobs here because, we talked about how lucky they were in the first half of the season and they just kept going. We had some nice spirited conversation at the first half about their pitching staff, probably the most in-depth we've talked about any pitching staffs as a whole. We kind of went down the order. And yet here you go in Colorado, you're a dog. What the fuck? I'll tell you this. I like the under. I don't see how these teams get to this number. One of the best under ballparks that we've had in baseball. To me, makes a lot of sense to get involved in a lower. Who's going to put the runs on the board? Now, I do have a little home run prop that I jumped in here for this one. So, I talk a little bit about some strikeout props, and I like to be equally discriminative against the pitchers as well here and getting smacked around the yard. So, a couple of home run props, but this one I did a little 2-legger, and it's a 12-1. I've got Mickey Moniak and Ellie De La Cruz to smack homers in this thing. Parlay them together in the same game. Just have a little fun with it. I just think the under 12 makes sense. And I know you're saying, oh, you're taking home run props, but you like the under, because I don't think the two are exclusive. I don't think they're mutually vulnerable here. I think that we can see some runs. We're at Coors. We're going to see the ball go deep. We just don't see it go over that number very often. And Mickey Moniak comes into this thing. He's a plus 285 out there. But frankly, like, Brady Singer and the Reds bullpen, I'm not buying it. Righties or lefties, it don't matter. They can smack Singer around. And then Ellie De La Cruz on the other side of things, want to take a shot. I mean, if anybody's going to go out there and do it, he was a little bit banged up early in the season out there. And give me the advantage here with Ellie. I think he goes out there and can, he can hit. He's a multi-hit player, so he doesn't just have to deal with a fastball or a slider. He can go out there and smack four seamers and everything else that goes along with it. So I like that little parlay, 12-1, but I like the under 12.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the line movement on this game. The Rockies opened minus 120, and they're getting steamed out. So that means some significant quotient of money is betting the Reds here. And when you were talking, I was just thinking, people betting the Reds are living in the past. Guys, we're predicting the future here. When the Rockies are favored, you want to buy that low and ride it up. I mean, God, it just drives me nuts sometimes how many people cap from the past. And you want to sell Singer in this spot. He's been awful on the road all year. He's actually coming in here off really a nice cluster of home starts, starting in the center of June. 4 earned runs at home, last 24 and a third. If you guys look at his game log, you think he looks like he's in good form. It's only at home. His road numbers this year, he's given up 31 earned runs in 41 and a third innings pitched, 60 hits, 10 home runs. His ERA on the road in a big sample is 6.75. And you talk about struggling all across the country. Now he gets to go to Coors Friday night off a break. Talking about these guys not going to the All-Star game. Singer's sitting at home off a couple really good starts, kind of looking at himself in the mirror saying, wow, I look pretty good right now. Now he's got to go out to Colorado. I think he gets absolutely rocked. And final point on this, our guy in the chat says Rockies run line. I completely agree. Talk about line functionality here. Singer actually did pitch against the Rockies at home last year in Cincinnati on July 12th. He did win the game 4-3. But guess what? Cincinnati was favored last year in that matchup against the Rockies.
Minus 180.
Minus 300.
Woo!
This is moving over 200 points, ladies and gentlemen. I talk about 100 gaps. This is a 200 gap. Take notice of it. The Rockies will take care of business. I have the Rockies to win this game by 5 runs. Not entirely sure if it's going to happen, but Mike's talking about home runs. We're giving you guys the full breakdown. If you guys are taking the Rockies, Stop Geo says leaning Rockies. Don't lean it. Buy it. And let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here, Mike. We got the video again.
Let's go, you guys. Smack that thumbs up button. We got to get back to the getting back here as we get back on track with the second half of baseball season. We ask you guys if you like the video, you want to see more content coming down the pike, make sure you show some support with that thumbs up button.
Four late night games tonight, guys. We're going 9:38. Tigers, Angels in Anaheim. Troy Melton at Reed Detmers. Pretty marquee pitching matchup here, Mike. Really nice spot, in my opinion. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I like Melton. This is a K-prop spot for me with Melton. Just trying to find some different ways to try to play the game here. I feel like you got to be a little bit wary as you come out of the All-Star break for a lot of reasons, right? You're talking about headspace. Right now is, baseball's got 27 trade deadlines. So we're kind of coming into that phase of who's going to be buyers and who's going to be sellers. That's why there's games like, the Red Sox today. That doubleheader is so important because it's going to really give the Red Sox this series with Tampa and the way that they're structured right now, that decision, right? Which way do we go here? And it's going to be based off of these next couple of games against Tampa. And I think you have to do that across the board. So that's why I'm a little creative when I'm trying to find some other ways to go out there and attack the board. It's not just about the sides. I don't really like the sides so much in this spot, but I do think that from a pitching edge, Troy Melton right now crushes righties. He's got a 25% strikeout rate against right-handed pitchers, and I think that gives him the slight edge here. I think Detroit probably gets the edge, but I don't love the price. I just like to give me some K-prop here. Look at this dude's got 1.82 ERA on top of it. So not a huge sample in the season. We'll see how he gets his legs back underneath him coming out of this all-star break here. But for what it's worth, to your point about who's buying where, 87% of the bets, 96% of the cash, Shark, are on this Tigers team. It has moved. I mean, it's moving the way you want to see it. It's gone from plus 100 to minus 108. And it's correlated because the Angels have gone from minus 20 to plus 100. So, for what it's worth, I think it's probably a Tigers spot. I certainly like lower scoring, games like this here, but Tigers seem to blow it for me in the first fives as well. They come out there and shit the bed in the bottom of the fifth inning, and then they kind of find a way to rally on top of that. So Melton over 5.5 strikeouts, minus 115 for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've been doing business with these buy hats from the American League Central. We're not stopping tonight. The buy hat is engaged. And Mike, you're talking about the market movement here. I mean, this is one of the strongest moves of the entire card. It's moved almost 35 points.
Yeah.
And it is for good reason. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I disagree. I certainly agree here. You're just looking at this guy, Melton. He's extremely high upside. At no point the entire season has he looked remotely confused on the mound. It's not going to stop tonight. He's been absolutely great on the road. Only 3 earned runs against road all year. And it gets even better. Like Troy Melton, I talked about this last week. I mentioned he went to a college in Southern California, and I correlated him to Steven Strasburg. The kid went to San Diego State. He's from Newport Beach. He's already great in the road. Now he goes home. He's going to totally shove. And you talk about the Tigers, and you talk about the trade deadline. When the Tigers started to shop Skubal about a month ago and the speculation got real hot, it's right about the time the Tigers woke up. And I don't think it's random. I think they were coasting. They had been hot last year and fell apart. All of a sudden, Skubal's on the block. They walk into the clubhouse. They're looking around. They're like, guys, we're not ready to break this team up yet. Come on, we got a lot better in us. I think that jolted them significantly, and they're not stopping here. And final point on this, Detmers is not in good form right now at all. 3 out of his last 4 starts leading into the All-Star break, he gave up precisely 5 earned runs, 4 home runs against in his last 2 starts. I think Detmers is slightly market capped. We talked about this before. The Angels have kind of danced around this guy inside, in and out of the bullpen. I think he could be fatiguing a little bit here midsummer. Great spot for the Tigers. The buy hat is engaged. Take it in, let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. 3 more late night games. Next one, 9:40 in Phoenix. Cardinals, Diamondbacks. Merrill Kelly. Originally listed Michael McGreevy. Now it looks like no pitcher listed, Mike. Honestly, I was looking at McGreevy. If he's not pitching, I have no idea. Any thoughts?
I still see McGreevy on DraftKings, so I'm not sure if they're going to go that route or not. I don't like to see TBD in there at all, though. It's like we talk about all the time here with these pitchers and their nature of, consistency and needing to know when they're going to go out there and get the start and then their preparation that goes into it here. Caught some really nice money with Arizona kind of going into the All-Star. I mean, shit, I was giving out best bets with these guys, plays of the day, dog of the days, plus 180s, plus 190s against the Dodgers. And some people thought I was a little bit on the crazy side there, but I just don't know if I can jump right back into that bandwagon here. Like, my expectation is that St. Louis probably should table out a little bit here, 50-45 on the season, but when? So I guess I lean to runs. You know what? You got a 9 on the scorecard. You got some wind blowing out. Should be warm. All favorable signs that show this could probably have some runs behind them as well. So I would go to the over 9 in this game is probably the best bet.
I wouldn't disagree. I think there's a natural letdown for the Diamondbacks sweeping the Dodgers on the road. We talked about this with the Red Sox maybe continuing. For the D-backs to sweep their division rival and the best team in the league and then have a break, that's not good. I think they could be flat. Really tough game for me, though. I would lean towards the over as well. If you guys want to bet it, Mike likes the over. And let's keep it moving. A couple more late night games tonight here. First one in interleague baseball in Sacramento. Nats at A's. Cavalli at Jump. Great pitching matchup here, Mike. What's going on?
It is. And another spot where I want to get involved here with some Cavalli plus money Ks. Sitting around plus 118 right now. He's 5.4, 3.83 ERA. He got a shit ton of strikeouts. And he's got a huge K rate. He's sitting over 25.4%. So, look, his last start, dude, he was playing against the Yankees. He shut him down. I mean, 6 innings. He gave up 2 runs. He had 5 strikeouts, but still shut him down for all intent and purpose. And he also did the same thing. He had 13 strikeouts against Boston. So that was that situation where he backed up a big performance. And you got this Athletics team that has been league worst against righties. They suck right now from a batting perspective, and I don't think the time off gave them any kind of an advantage. They're just bad because they don't have the depth. 27.8% strikeout rate in the last 2 weeks is the highest rate in baseball. So Cade Cavalli, man, let's see this dude go out there and shut everybody down here today. No style, right through the 9th inning. Why not? See this fucking guy get the win and everything else that goes along with it.
I think I got to order a Nats hat this afternoon. This is an absolutely fantastic handicap. Giving you guys the Nats on the money line. I think this could be a blowout. And this is just a great spot to buy Cavalli and sell Jump. We don't get this type of transparency very often. You look at Cavalli, as Mike said, he just aced the Yankees in that series where the Yankees backdoored every game in the 8th inning or later. But you go road Cavalli at American League opponents. He's been excellent. He's 3-0. He beat the Guardians 6-3, only 1 earned run. He beat the Rays 4-3, and he beat the Red Sox 7 innings. Mike, you're talking about this elite level start type of stuff. 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 13 strikeouts. When he gets on the road, AL, particularly off losses, he is an absolute genius. And this guy, Gage Jump, sorry to say, he does not like pitching out west. This guy's been effective on the road all year. I told you guys this numerous times. He's from the SEC. He went to LSU. He's a rookie. He's more comfortable back east. You get him at home against National League opponents. He is absolutely terrible. His last 2 home starts against NL got absolutely rocked against the Dodgers, gave up 5 earned runs on an egregious 11 hits in 4 2/3, and did lose 9-8 against the Marlins, giving up another 5 earned runs on another 2 home runs and 8 hits in 3 innings in the game that Yuri Perez almost threw a perfect game, and the Marlins somehow almost blew the game late. That is not going to be the case tonight. I think the Nats take care of business. This is where you want to buy a smash. I think an alt run line could be in play here. Take the Nats and let's cash. Keeping it moving. Final game of the card, 10-10 in the Pacific Northwest, T-Mobile Park. Giants Mariners opening up a weekend series here to open the second half. Landon Roop at Bryce Miller. Mike, I was looking at this game before, and I was quickly reminded the Mariners still haven't really figured it out. They're sitting here under 500, right in that middle ground. Do they finally wake up tonight?
Well, the problem is that they suck on the road and they're strong at home. So if they can play Texas and Houston the rest of the way, they'll be just fine. No matter whether they play them home or road or not. But with that thought process and sentiment, what we've seen is a couple of things. One, Roop hasn't been performing. At least he's not catching the wins like we would expect he was going into the All-Star break. 2, we know the Mariners play better at home. And 3, it's a great opportunity to get involved in the Bryce Miller business. You know, I talk about the strikeout upsides for this guy. He's got a 30.5% K rate, and he's over that 10.1 strikeouts per 9 innings scenario. So, yeah, Bryce Miller want to be involved in his business, but I think that you got to look at this one and say, you know what, give me this under. And I'm going to go a little bit different in this one, though. I'm going to go to the first 5 under. I looked at this. 3.5 for the first 5 innings is plus 114. I think the flat bats coming out of the All-Star break. Who's going to hit the ball? Who's going to be the guy that's doing it? We're seeing all kinds of cold bats in this Seattle side of things, whether they're home or on the road. So, the only guy that I think that really has any potential upside of making us all regret this potential decision is a guy in Jung Ho Lee. He's the only guy with any meaningful numbers across the board. I mean, Josh Naylor's got 2 at-bats against Roop. He's got 1 hit. Is that meaningful? I don't know, but Jung Ho Lee's got 3 with 2 against Bryce Miller. I like Bryce Miller case. I like the first 5 under 3.5. I think you get that plus money price. That's a really sweet deal.
Yeah, tough game. This is getting steamed out of the stadium presently, too. We're looking at minus 200 for the Mariners now.
It's crazy.
Oh, my God. You know what it is? I just think people are buying this team finally. They're saying, you know what, it's the second half. They got to wake up. And, Miller's looked good. He looked terrible in his previous start. He got rocked in Miami I tried to give you guys him on the road. Clearly, he was out all night hanging out at Club 11 or something, but now he's back home. He's undistracted. It's Seattle. This is where he shoves. The moral of the story is this is not a complicated handicap. The Mariners are going to win this game. You're just going to pay for it. So if you want to bet it, don't go to the dog side of this game. The Giants have been terrible on the road all year. 19-30, one of the worst road teams in baseball. Mariners spot, you're overpaying for it. That is that, Mike. And we got best bets.
Great stuff as always. Good stuff, you guys. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in. I'm going Texas Rangers, man. I'm doing it. It's a big one, and I really like the spot, and I don't care if it's sale day or not. It does not have the same meaning it used to for me. Right now, the best price tag for the Texas Rangers I see is around a plus 185. So we'll take Texas plus 185. I'm going to take the Houston game. I'm going to go with the under 8.5 in that Houston game. Right now, I can get that Houston under 8.5 at, where'd it go? Plus 108 on that guy. And I'll take, I'm going to go with that San Fran under 3.5 for the first 5 at plus 114. And then I got some K props for you guys as well, right? I gave you Garrett Cole under 5.5 strikeouts at minus 130. I will take Chris Sale over 7.5 strikeouts at plus 120. And I'm going to take that Cavalli over 5.5 strikeouts. I want to take that Melton one too. Stay tuned. Cavalli over 5.5 strikeouts, Sale over 7.5 strikeouts. And then I'll go with Garrett Cole under 5.5 strikeouts with Texas Rangers, Houston under 8.5, and San Fran first 5 under 3.5.
All right, I got a bunch of stuff for you guys. Going to put the Dodgers hat back on to close the show here. The buy hat is engaged. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a rare sight. I don't put it on very often, particularly in the regular season. Get it done, Dodgers. That's minus 108. White Sox plus 122. Looking at the Royals plus 113. Orioles plus 104. Rockies minus 108. And Tigers.
Whoa. You want to leave anything for the parlay, or you want to just fucking fire everything out there?
I want to give the buy hat, so we need to give the Tigers.
What was the Baltimore one? I missed it.
Why don't we save Baltimore for the parlay? We'll save that for the parlay. So we'll give Dodgers, White Sox, Royals, Rockies is mandatory. That's my brand is buying these teams as favorites.
That's about a lot.
And taking the Tigers as well.
What was the Tigers price?
Minus 108.
Okay. I'm good if you want to take Baltimore. I don't like Baltimore. So if you want to put them in there, that's cool.
Yeah, put plus 104. Your trend was all over it. And as I said, Kramer, zigzag and road pitcher. So
I get it. Let's go for a parlay here. What do you think about you want to take Seattle?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, it's getting steamed, right?
Yeah.
How about the under 8.5 in Detroit? Can I get you there?
I honestly did not look at that. I'll trust if you want to put that in there.
And then
why don't we go Washington? Did you give Washington?
No.
Washington.
All right, so we got Seattle, Detroit under 8.5, and the Nats. You know the deal. Creature of habit. We put those in during the show. They seem to be good luck for us out there. Let's go here. Under 8.5. Whoops, my bad. Seattle Nationals in the under 8.5. Seattle Nationals. All right, we got a plus 395. Let's get this show going, man. Second half of Baseball Shark, 1 p.m. on the dot, my man. Great job. Welcome back. I miss doing the show with you.
Same. I mean, it really is like when you wake up and do this for the chat, for ourselves, it's such a high energy, guys. It's so much more than just the profit within the show. It really is a great conversation with you guys every day. Just to answer this guy's question real quick, might make life great says, who goes on that second half run? It happens every year. We're not going to be long-winded right now. We can touch on this maybe on Monday. But I would say, just off the top of my head, The Detroit Tigers, I think they're the team. I think the division is open for business. I think nobody's overly dominant. I think they have momentum. They have a great run differential while still being 500. And as I said, I think they really awakened within the clubhouse when they started talking about moving their best pitcher, Tarek Skubal. So there's your answer. Tigers bull market second half. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
If I could answer, I'll jump in too.
Sure.
My only problem with Detroit is why hasn't Skubal signed a big extension yet? If he wanted to stay in Detroit, he would have signed an extension. He hasn't even said he wants to sign an extension yet. I'll go with the Boston Red Sox. This is a go-to series for them right now. They've been incredibly underperforming. We know the AL East does dominate outside the division. And I feel like Tampa Bay is a little too hot. Yankees are kind of staying their course. Baltimore can't hit the ball out there. So Boston's in a prime position in the AL East to make a nice little second half move out there. I don't know if they smash, but I think they can go out there and have a nice little second half run. So that's my official track.
I think it's incredibly correlated into the center too, because they have the Red Sox run differential is plus 27 and the Tigers is plus 24. Basically the same exact team. Incredible stuff. Buy the Red Sox, buy the Tigers, buy the show. Please bet responsibly. We will see you guys on Monday. That is it for this one. MLB Bases Loaded. The Friday show as we reopen going into the second half, July the 17th, 2026. For my guy in the Sharks, stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.